Hey guys, and welcome to this episode of Sky Blue Sunday. Unfortunately, after having a few problems, we've had to re-record it on a Tuesday. So hopefully it'll go up at the end of tonight, if not tomorrow morning, depending on how long rendering takes. So after last week's transfer window, Coventry got back to their usual and managed to play a game this week on Saturday against Derby County. We'll speak more about that in a minute, but what I first want to do is go to the comments that were said from last week and just answer a few of them. First of all, I just want to say Rob is also back, so say hi, Rob.
Yes, hi, I'm back this week. Apologies for the technical issues from the week before, but they seem to have been sorted now.
Yeah, so for you guys that don't know, we just had a couple of audio problems and connection problems, but that's sorted now, hopefully. So yeah, I also want to thank Sam Allen for the footage. Gamer Tag United Sam Allen, sorry. So yeah, thanks for the footage for that, for both this show and the previous one last week. So getting down to it, I want to thank everyone for the 112 views as of Monday that we got for the show, which was really good last week. We did really well, and I also want to thank Lucas Jukovic and Cyrus Christie and Jordan Clark for retweeting about the video after seeing it. So this is a comment from CrazyGirl90X, who asks, why do you play FIFA during the show? And the reason is because of copyright issues. Legally, we're not allowed to show footage of the game, and the video will get taken down if we do so. So I'm just saving my back sort of thing and just putting some gameplay over the top. Sorry. The channel is also a gaming channel, so just to keep my subscribers happy, I put the gameplay over the top so they can see just a bit of gameplay for the video. Andy Robinson 13 said Scott Down was 20% the Salon clause. From what I heard, it was 10%, but this is not a fact site, this is just opinions. So I went with my opinion of the 10%. If it was 20%, then fair play. I admit I was wrong. If it wasn't, then yay me, sort of thing. He also asked if Ken Dooley gave me a loan list of signings. No is the simple answer to that. I have no affiliation to the club other than being a supporter, and it's just basic. All it was a list of names that I thought of that might be good at the club. So yeah, no, there's no lists or anything like that are given to us as the commentary team for Sky Blue Sunday. He also says no one will sign after the problems of, I believe it was Danny Ward from Bolton. Is that right, Rob?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, last season.
Yeah, I don't really know what'll happen and what'll come of that. What do you reckon, Rob?
Well, it was an issue that was brought up in the press, that something about fees that weren't paid to Bolton, or fees that were being disputed about being paid to Bolton about Danny Ward. So I think that's what brought along the transfer embargo. But we've been told now by the club that there isn't a transfer embargo, so hopefully, yeah, we can bring some quality signings in. Loan signings.
Yeah, okay, so that pretty much answers that question. So just a message to everyone that this is just an opinion show. Almost all of it is just our opinion. There's basically no facts involved. It's just rumours that have been going on. So yeah, just take it as an opinion show. So moving on to the game. We played against Derby, who were in third place before the game, doing really well. They were pretty much the high flyers of the league, along with a couple of other teams. We were 22nd in the relegation zone, struggling. They put the match on Sky, and the kickoff was at 5:20 p.m. So, Rob, if you want to do the Coventry City lineup, and I'll do the Derby lineup.
Yep, okay. Coventry City lined up with Joe Murphy in goal. Back four of Richard Keogh, Martin Craney, Chris Hussey and Cyrus Christie. In midfield was David Bell, Sammy Clingan, Carl Baker and Gail Bagiramana, and up front was Lucas Jukovic and new signing Cody McDonald. On the bench was Chris Dunn, Nathan Cameron, Connor Thomas, Roy O'Donovan and Gary McSheffley.
And for Derby, they had Frank Fielding in goal, with a back four of Mark O'Brien, John Brayford, Jason Shackle and I believe it was Kevin Kilban. In the midfield, they had Ben Davies, Craig Bryson, Lee Croft and Jeff Hendrick. and up front they had Jamie Ward and Steve Davis. I'm not sure whether that's true or not, but or whether they play in different positions, but that's what I've got in front of me at the minute. The substitutes for the game were Adam Legzdins, if that's how you say it, Gareth Roberts, Russell Anderson, Chris Maguire and Theo Robinson. So both teams had a fairly strong first team, and it was a pretty good game. So during the start of the game, Derby had just about the best side of things for the first 20-25 minutes, having a couple of chances that came close, but we also had one opportunity as well. We were playing passing football, which I think tired out the Derby team fairly quickly, and in the second half that really showed. Kevin Kilban spurned a chance on 12 minutes to put the put Derby ahead, and basically what happened was he was outside the box and he just managed to hit it wide. It was nearer the corner flag, to be honest, compared to the posts. Then they managed to break away on 28 minutes. While there were a couple of protests that happened at the City in the stands, they managed to break away, and I can't remember who it was. Jamie Ward.
It's Jamie Ward. Yeah,
Jamie Ward managed to go through on goal, but Murphy managed to come out and get his legs to the ball and smother away. So that was good keeping by Joe Murphy, and he played really well until the second half. So in the second half, Joe Murphy had to come off due to what was believed to be a hamstring injury, and Kristen was called into action after coming straight on at the at half time to deny John Brayford's attempt from the edge of the area. Basically, it came in, he hit the ball to Kristen's left, and Kristen managed to just get half a hand onto it and turn it round by the bar. So what did you think of the save?
That was. I think it was a great save, considering Kristen had only just come out. It was his championship debut, he's a full reaction save, one-handed punch out, and it was a great save for him, and I think it was a big confidence boost as well for him for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't had the best time at Cov of late. He's been on the bench all of the time, but it has proven to me that he's done pretty well, and I'm looking forward to seeing him while Joe Murphy is out, just to see what he can actually do. And later on in the second half, we managed to get a fairly controversial penalty from Richard Keogh, who had the ball come towards him, went over fairly easily after Jason Shackle stuck his went into Richard Keogh, but I still don't think it was a penalty. I think it was a very, very light penalty for us to have been given, and just more luck than judgment that we managed to get the penalty and get into the game more and get that first goal on the score sheet. What do you reckon, Rob?
It was a fortuitous penalty, but I think I've looked at it again, the Sky footage, and where the referee was positioned, he was looking at it from the other side, so he would have seen Shackle's foot go through Keogh rather than what we saw on the other angle where Keogh's already sort of half over. So the referee would have seen it as worse than it actually was. So I think that's what gave him the split-second decision. Obviously, we've got the benefit of looking at it again, but that's why he's given the penalty. But you take it. We haven't had much luck on the pitch recently, so we need to take every opportunity we can get, and Jukovic put the penalty away brilliantly. So yeah, it was good for us.
Yeah, so as Rob said, Jukovic slotted the penalty home to the keeper's right hand side. I think the keeper went to the left, so he wrong footed him, and it was a good penalty and got us into the game, enjoying the game.
That's what we needed, wasn't it?
It was completely what we needed. So, with 11 minutes left, Cyrus Christie sent in a long throw from the right-hand side of the pitch. The Derby defence could only flick it on into the box, and Carl Baker managed to smash the ball home from about 8 yards out. I think it's a really good thing for Carl Baker, because if you don't know, his brother Michael, who died of can't remember what it was. Can you remember, Rob?
It was
That
leukemia.
was the one. Yeah, he died of leukemia 2 years ago. And it was really good for him to just get the goal and be able to celebrate with his family. And you can really tell he played the game for his brother today. 2 years ago, he did the exact same thing with Stockport County, and when he scored for them, he went over to the dugout and got an RIP T-shirt. And at the end of the game, he got a card with every Stockport fan's signature on there, which was really good. I commend the Stockport fans for doing that. It was a really good gesture from them, and we need it more in the sport, if I'm being honest, because too many times we just don't realise the amount of crap that football players do have to go through at the same time. What do you think of it, Rob?
I've got great respect for Carl Baker coming in and doing a job on Saturday, because it's obviously a very emotional time for him and his family. I mean, in his interview, he said that he had been up at his brother's graveside on the morning of the game and travelled down to play the game in the evening. So obviously, yeah, it's very emotional for him. But for him to put in in my opinion, one of his best performances for Coventry City and getting a great goal as well, got great respect for him. And I think hopefully it can spur on future performances in a similar vein as the one on Saturday, because it's obviously something very close to him, and if you can use that as inspiration, or I'm not sure what the word is, to help him
As a starting block,
in great.
do you mean?
Yeah. Sort of, so he can put in the performances week in, week out, which I think, so he can get on the score sheet more, and he can start making that midfield position his own, because at the minute we've got a few players here and there that we've been playing not strictly on merit, but just because they've had to. But now, hopefully, if we can get some loans in, if Baker keeps playing the way he did on Saturday, then he can keep his place in the starting lineup and keep putting in good performances and getting more goals.
Yeah, so as Rob said, I've got a great respect for Carl Baker. If you are watching this, Carl, then I just want to say that Michael would have been amazingly proud of that performance that you had on Saturday. Also, I want to mention at the end of the game, Gail Bigaramana's celebration. It just shows the passion.
It's fantastic.
Basically, if you don't know, he had his arms aloft in the air, on his knees, basically praying to God, and it just showed so much heart and belief from the guy, and just for him to be able to celebrate getting 3 points, I'll be honest, it did bring a tear to my eye, because you need more of that in the game. People who care about the results, and you really showed that he did care.
They deserved it, didn't they? I mean, they've had good performances all season. They've just not been. They've not had the luck of the draw. They've been playing teams at the top, and on Saturday it all worked. It all clicked, and they deserve the 3 points, and they deserve to celebrate the hard work that they've put in.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, the game was a 2-0 win to Coventry, taking them up to 18th in the table. Obviously, don't get your hopes up too much. We're out of relegation, but there's still a hell of a long way in the season to go. Do you want to say anything,
There is,
Rob?
but it's a starting block, isn't it? Like you said, you sort of feel like we've turned a corner now with the transfer window closed. That's behind us, and we can sort of focus. We've got our first 3 points. We've got a home win, and confidence is obviously high in the team. So we've just got to build on it, and hopefully the performances will keep coming and the results will keep coming.
Yeah, so basically now moving on to the bad parts of the game that weren't to do with the game, the protests. My personal opinion of it is I didn't really see the point in them. At the end of the day, apart from Sisu, there's no other group that want to take over the club at this point in time. The whole Joe Elliott and Gary Hoffman bid has been taken away now because of the fact of Sam Allardyce being one of the associates. Admittedly, he said he would leave, but at the end of the day, that's not anymore. So there's no other club to
I think
take over us.
it was more the fact that apparently the details of that have been leaked to the press. But as you said, that's in the past. That we've got to forget about that now. We've got our owners. They're continuing to fund the club. I don't know what the time frame on that is, whether it's long term or not. But at the minute, they're our owners, and protesting against them at the minute isn't going to help things at all, in my opinion.
Exactly, yeah, I totally agree. And there's no real point in protesting, because what have they got to protest against? At the end of the day, Sisu are doing a lot better for us now compared to what they were doing. And they've kept their end of the bargain when they said that the transfer window wasn't going to be a fire sale of players. And it wasn't, to be fair. I know I'm not saying cut them a load of slack and say they're going to be the best thing since sliced bread. But at the end of the day, they're who we've got now, and we've got to work with it. And at the minute, we've got to put up with it. So for those of you guys that don't know, there was a couple of fights that took place, and I will be honest, there's one thing and one thing only that I'm going to blame it on and put it down to, and that was the poor effort of the rapid response police, who tried to calm everything down but ended up making it probably 30 times as bad. I know personally, when I was looking to my left, one kid that must have been about, I don't know, 5'8", 5'9", pretty skinny, got basically shoved into the railings by one of the rapid response police, and it was a pretty big joke, to be honest. I wish I'd have got a photo of it, because then I would have definitely got in contact with the police to have tried to have got something done about it, because I'll be honest with you, it wasn't on the way they acted. But at the same time, you kind of do feel sorry for them, because they've got a job to do, and when you've got 1,000 maybe people protesting against Sisu and making a big ruckus out of it all, there's not really much else that they can do other than throw people out, and throwing people out obviously gets people wound up. What do you think about it, Rob?
The main issue for me was the fact that it was clearly affecting the players on the pitch. It was they could see it was going on, and it was our worst spell of the game. I think even Andy Thorne said that afterwards. That 10-15 minutes at the start of the game, when it was all going on in the crowd, I think the players sort of took their eye off the ball a little bit. I mean, it was evident when Klingon lost the ball for that Jamie Ward chance you mentioned earlier. That was during all the stuff going on in the crowd. So I think we can sit here all day arguing about rapid response and banners and things, but we should be going to the stadium to watch the football, and that's it. We should be supporting the team, and we should be celebrating the goals, and we should just be watching the football. Anything else is a sideshow, and it's distracting for both people trying to watch the game, like I was trying to do, but obviously, the stuff going on in front of us and around us, it was kind of difficult to at the time. And the sideshow, it distracts the fans, and it distracts, most importantly, the players. And if we'd have gone a goal down during that time, it would probably have got worse, and I don't think we'd have been celebrating 3 points at the end of the day. So that's my view on it anyway. I don't really know what more to add on that. But
yeah, I mean, the one thing I will say is, when you are rioting or protesting, do it outside of the game. If you're going to do it, then at least have the decency to do it before half-time or after the match. Don't do it while the players are playing, because I'll be honest, it was a joke. I mean, me and you and a lot of other people in the crowd were trying to watch the football, and you just can't do it, because people stand up, look behind them, and it really is just a stupid thing to do, if you ask me. I mean, if there was a takeover bid, if there was a really big problem, then yeah, fair enough. If we went into administration, fair enough. But we haven't. And I just think it's largely just overreacting. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think we all want Sisu out, but at the end of the day, they're not going anytime soon. So what's the point in protesting?
They said it in the press release and the statement and everything. They're here now for at least until the end of this season. So any form of protest now is it's pointless, really, because as you said, there's no other alternative, and they are our owners, and they're funding the club with obviously we brought Cody McDonald in, and they've said we're going to get some loans in as well, so hopefully we will. And as you say, they're here to stay now for at least until the end of the season. So any protest in or outside the ground is just a distraction at the minute, and it's a distraction we don't need. We need to be celebrating the 3 points, a good performance, and we need to be backing the players rather than not backing other people.
Yeah, so I think we should leave it at that for now. As you guys may know, we're playing on Monday next week on Sky Sports. So the next show is going to be again on Tuesday. It will be called Sky Blue Sunday, but obviously it'll be on a Tuesday. And then the week after that, it'll be basically back to normal. So yeah, if you've got a comment that you'd like to leave, make them constructive.
Yeah, thanks again for listening, everyone, and keep the faith.
All right, cheers, guys, and take care. See ya. Worded the best way, sort of thing. So, and hopefully they'll be shown on next week's show. And yeah, thanks for listening, guys, and take care. Rob, do you want to say anything?